News 4 Jax starts right now with a breaking news alert.
New this morning, updated model shows Hurricane Dorian possibly not making landfall in Florida, but this could quickly change. Millions are staying on high alert.
I feel like there's very little I can do. It's going to be the grace of God, I think.
It is time to get on the roads, make those decisions, board up your house, do your time. Please take this seriously.
The storm is rapidly gaining strength, reaching Category 4 status as of last night. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. The Category 4 storm slowly creeping along. Forecast models are constantly shifting. The latest shows Dorian moving away from the state of Florida, but more towards coastal Georgia and the Carolinas.
However, the storms are unpredictable, as we know, and you're being urged to be prepared just in case. Let's take a look at a photo that was taken inside the eye of the storm. The National Hurricane Center tweeted it out this morning. It was taken by one of NOAA's Hurricane Hunter aircrafts. News 4 Jax is your go-to station for those preparations. Let's check in now with meteorologist Rebecca Berry on the latest track for Hurricane Dorian. It's looking a little bit better. When does the updated track come out?
The next track comes out at 11 a.m. and we'll be watching that like a hawk to see if it shifts a little bit further to the east as well, because every shift to the east is better news for our area. Now, we just got an update for the 8 a.m. We don't get a new track for 8 a.m. We get a new update on intensity and position. And so the Hurricane Hunter aircraft found slightly stronger winds. And so they've upgraded the winds to be sustained at 145 miles per hour. They also found the forward motion to be further to the west. So now it's just a westerly motion. Previously, it was west-northwesterly, and it's still moving pretty quickly at about 12 miles per hour. We expect it to continue to move to the west by Sunday morning, maintaining those 145 mile per hour sustained winds, slowing down a little bit Sunday into Monday. And then this is where we start to see uncertainty in the forecast between Monday and Tuesday when the storm starts to turn to the north. It's still a huge question mark as to where Dorian will actually end up, and we do not know. But forecast models are indicating that we may not see an eye making landfall on the state, that we will just get the weak side of the storm, which still could be very significant as it moves up the coastline. But this is better news than yesterday's track for our area. It's not good news for southeastern Georgia and the Carolinas. Now, our part of southeastern Georgia would be similar to what we're expecting, but once you get north of McIntosh County and the storm and the coastline starts to curve out, it could be harder hit along, especially near Savannah and all the way up to Hilton Head. But the forecast models that we're watching, the Euro and the GFS, both show a lot of interaction with the Carolina coastline, which could be a major concern for them. But for us, this is an improving forecast. This is better news, and we're hoping for it to continue to shift. Here's a look at the GFS and the Euro. You can see they are pretty close together through about 48 hours. The GFS speeds up the turn to the north and also remains further offshore than the Euro. The Euro makes a more sharp turn than instead of that curved turn. But here's where the GFS and the Euro are as of Tuesday at evening, and actually the GFS updated and shifted even a little bit further offshore than this center icon. The Euro is still right where it was, but we'd still get coastline flooding, especially areas and rivers that the southerly winds would drive more water into. So down near Palatka would see a lot of flooding because of strong southerly winds funneling all the St. Johns into that one area. And so it would be a different type of flooding than we've seen with previous storms if this scenario plays out, but it wouldn't be as bad downtown and in other areas like that. And so if this scenario plays out, would be on the weak side of the storm, would see about 4 inches of rain along the coastline and negligible amounts of rain along our inland areas. The Carolinas would be getting hammered starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so that's what we're worried about with this storm, taking a more Floyd-like track, if you remember that storm, skirting our coastline, but really hammering the Carolinas. At this point, they're calling for these storms to be a Category 2 upon interaction with the Carolina coastline. So that's the latest on Dorian. It's improving news for our forecast. I'll get to the local showers we're seeing pushing on shore coming up next.
We're going to take a live look now. This is a beautiful shot, but this is Cocoa Beach in Brevard County. You know, they have those mandatory evacuations starting tomorrow. The sheriff's office issued that for people living on the barrier islands, flood-prone areas, as well as mobile homes. As you know, those can be so dangerous. The order goes into effect Sunday morning starting at 8. The Florida Department of Transportation has lifted the tolls in that area. And again, as I said, it is beautiful, but could be in serious danger. because of the storm.
And that it's going to change dramatically over the next couple of days
Yeah.
as well. And while it's still too early to tell where Dorian will make landfall, local officials are encouraging you to know your evacuation zone. In Duval County, you can do that by logging onto jaxready.com or downloading the Jax Ready app. From there, just type in your address.
Another easy way to do this, and I just did this a few moments ago, you can check news4jax.com/know your zone to find out which evacuation zone you're in. And just a little tip, instead of typing in your zip code alone, type in your whole address, and that way it'll be super zoomed in. Just zoom out, and then you can find your zone. I did that for my mom, my in-laws, pretty much everybody this morning.
And you'll be ready to go should that evacuation order come down.
Yep. And it's supposed to be a big money-making weekend. I mean, it is Labor Day weekend, but that's not going to work out so well this week.
Hurricane Dorian is turning a Labor Day boom into a bust. News4Jax reporter Brittany Muller is joining us live from Jacksonville Beach. And you spoke to the manager of one local hotel. What are they telling you?
Good morning, Stacy and Ashley. The general manager of this hotel behind me says the main concern is the safety for all of the guests as well as the staff in the event that there's an evacuation order. He says that he'll be contacting all of the guests and making sure that there's a plan to move the guests inland away from the beach.
Sandbags at the entrances and emergency equipment on hand.
Irma was kind of the same situation where it wasn't very clear for us as far as the weather.
Michael Hitt, the general manager of Courtyard by Marriott, Jacksonville Beach Oceanfront, says about 100 guests are currently staying at the hotel, with numbers dwindling because of cancellations.
We've had a couple of people that didn't really know what to expect, but we kind of walked them through the process of, we have plenty of time. They give us plenty of opportunity to make sure that everybody gets out safely.
One guest in town from Alabama for her baby shower.
I just had people say that they weren't able to make it because of the weather and uncertainty for flights.
If evacuation zones A and B are ordered to evacuate, Mayor Lenny Curry says that's about 250,000 people that will be affected.
So imagine evacuating a 250,000 people at the same time when you could have evacuations happening south of us, people moving in our direction. That's probably the top thing that led us to move the Florida State-Boise State football game to Tallahassee, is to make sure that we had clear roads for evacuations.
And during Hurricane Irma, the general manager of this Courtyard by Marriott on Jacksonville Beach says some of the hotel rooms had water damage because of the way the wind was blowing. And of course, he says he's keeping a close eye on Hurricane Dorian and keeping all of his guests informed. Reporting live this morning from Jacksonville Beach, Brittany Muller, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Brittany. The Weather Authority always tracking the tropics for you. Download our free Weather Authority app and our free hurricane app to stay up to date when the system develops, and also to see whether it's heading in our direction. There's also some interactive radar for you to look at as well.
And subscribe to the Morning Blend. It's our new daily newsletter from the Morning Show team. You'll get your forecast and the day's top stories all in one place. Just sign up on news4jax.com/newsletters. And let's take a live look at the track right now. And you can see it has shifted, but we are not in the clear just yet.